Hi dear. Welcome to your favorite audiobook channel, Wisdom Flicks, Mental Rehearsal, Introduction. What is mental rehearsal and why it works? Take a moment and imagine yourself standing on the edge of a stage. The spotlight hits your face, the room is quiet, and every eye is on you. You take a deep breath and begin to speak. Your voice is clear, your confidence radiates, and the audience is captivated. Now pause and realize, this didn't happen in real life. It happened in your mind. That is mental rehearsal. Mental rehearsal is the powerful practice of vividly imagining a future event, performance, or goal, repeatedly and with intention, so that your mind and body begin to internalize the experience as if it's already happening. Whether you're preparing for a speech, a big game, an interview, or even a new habit, the magic begins in your mind before it ever manifests in your life. The concept may sound simple, even too good to be true. But here's the thing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Neuroscientists have shown that mental imagery activates the same neural networks in the brain as actual performance. This means your body begins to train even without moving a muscle. That's why elite athletes mentally rehearse their routines before stepping onto the field. That's why public speakers visualize their stage moments before walking up to the microphone. And that's why mental rehearsal is now being used by entrepreneurs, artists, surgeons, and even astronauts. But mental rehearsal isn't just for professionals, it's for you. Whether you want to improve your confidence, build a new habit, conquer fear, or simply perform better at something that matters to you, this practice can change your life. Let's be clear, this isn't about daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's not about hoping something good will happen. It's about deliberately preparing your mind for success by creating a realistic, emotionally charged, and mentally practiced experience of what you want to achieve. It's mental training, and just like physical training, it requires focus, consistency, and intention. In this book, you're going to discover exactly how mental rehearsal works, why it's so effective, and how to use it in a way that transforms your life from the inside out. You'll learn the neuroscience behind it, hear real-life success stories, and get step-by-step guidance to create your own mental rehearsal routines. You might be wondering, can just thinking about something really lead to better results? The brain? Answer is a resounding yes, if done correctly. When practiced properly, mental rehearsal can increase motivation, sharpen skills, build confidence, reduce anxiety, and even speed up physical recovery. It prepares you for success by building a mental blueprint that your body and behavior can follow. Imagine having a mental preview of your best self, calm, confident, capable, and knowing that you've already experienced your success before it even happens. That's what mental rehearsal gives you, a chance to live your future before it arrives. So whether you're looking to level up your career, master a new skill, overcome stage fright, or just live with more clarity and intention, this journey begins in your mind. And it starts right here. Welcome to Mental Rehearsal. How inner practice becomes your outer success. Your personal guide to mastering the invisible skill that creates visible results. Chapter 1. The science behind mental rehearsal. We live in a world where people often say, practice makes perfect. But what if we told you that practicing in your mind can be just as powerful as practicing in real life? Mental rehearsal may sound like a mystical or abstract idea, but it's rooted in real, measurable science. Over the past few decades, psychologists and neuroscientists have discovered that imagining a skill, truly imagining it in vivid detail, can shape the brain in ways that mirror physical experience. In other words, the brain doesn't just react to reality, it reacts to imagined reality too. Let's break down the science. Your brain, the ultimate simulator. The human brain is a powerful simulation machine. It allows us to relive the past, envision the future, and create alternate realities within seconds. This ability is not just a philosophical concept, it's a biological function. When you mentally rehearse an action, your brain activates the same motor and sensory areas that would light up if you were actually doing the task. In a famous experiment conducted by neuroscientist Dr. Alvaro Pascual-Leone at Harvard Medical School, two groups of people were asked to learn a simple 5-finger piano exercise. One group physically practiced the exercise on a real piano. The other group simply imagined practicing the exercise with no finger movement at all. The results were stunning. Brain scans showed that both groups experienced nearly identical changes in the motor cortex, the part of the brain responsible for voluntary movement. That means the group that only imagined playing the piano strengthened their brain's connection to the task almost as much as those who physically practiced. This discovery confirmed something revolutionary. Your mind is a rehearsal space for real-life success. Mirror neurons. Feeling without doing. One of the most fascinating discoveries in modern neuroscience is the role of mirror neurons. These are brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing the same action. Imagine watching someone lift a heavy weight. You might find yourself unconsciously tensing your arms or holding your breath. That's mirror neurons at work. They allow us to feel and simulate experiences without physically doing them. They also explain why mental rehearsal feels real and why it activates brain patterns similar to actual performance. Through mental rehearsal, you essentially trick your brain into believing the event is happening. And when your brain believes, your body follows. Neuroplasticity, changing your brain with thought. The concept of neuroplasticity is central to mental rehearsal. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself in response to learning, experience, and, yes, even thought. Every time you mentally rehearse an action or outcome, you're reshaping your neural pathways. You're laying down tracks for future behavior. Think of your brain like a field of fresh snow. The first time you walk across it, you leave a faint path. If you keep walking the same route over and over, a trail forms. Eventually, that trail becomes the path of least resistance, easy to follow. That's how mental rehearsal works. Every visualization strengthens the neural trail, making it easier and more natural to follow when it's time to act in real life. This is not theory. It's observable, repeatable, and backed by years of brain imaging studies. Mental rehearsal and skill acquisition. Let's take this one step further. Mental rehearsal doesn't just prepare your mind for what's coming. It helps you actually learn. Athletes have known this for years. Muhammad Ali visualized his fights long before he entered the ring. Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn mentally skied each course hundreds of times before racing. And basketball legend Michael Jordan used visualization techniques to mentally rehearse his shots under pressure. Studies show that athletes who combine physical practice with mental rehearsal consistently outperform those who only engage in physical training. Why? Because the brain is rehearsing not only the movements but also the emotions, the timing, the rhythm, and the execution. This principle applies to more than just sports. Surgeons mentally rehearse complex procedures before entering the operating room. Public speakers visualize themselves confidently delivering keynotes. Musicians mentally practice performances to refine their timing and emotional expression. Even students use it to prepare for exams and presentations. The body responds to the mind. Here's the part that really stretches the boundaries of what we think is possible. Mental rehearsal can lead to physical changes in the body. In a study, led by Dr. Guang Yue at the Cleveland Clinic, participants were asked to mentally visualize flexing their biceps every day for a few weeks. No weights, no gym, just thought. At the end of the study, the group that mentally practiced showed a 13.5% increase in muscle strength without lifting a finger. This isn't magic. It's the power of mind-body communication. When your mind sends signals to your muscles, even in the absence of physical movement, your body listens. Neural activation leads to hormonal responses, muscle stimulation, and even changes in heart rate and blood flow. Mental rehearsal doesn't replace physical effort, but it enhances it. It prepares your body to succeed by giving it a blueprint for what's coming. Emotion, the amplifier. Here's one final piece of the puzzle. Mental rehearsal is effective not just because it activates your brain's motor circuits, but because it taps into your emotional system. When you feel the emotions of success, excitement, confidence, calm, You condition your body to associate those feelings with the event you're preparing for. Emotion is what makes the rehearsal stick. It strengthens the neural imprint and adds realism to the imagined experience. That's why rehearsing with emotional involvement is far more powerful than passive daydreaming. Why it works so well. To summarize, mental rehearsal works because it activates the same neural circuits as real experience. It engages the motor system, mirror neurons, and emotional centers. It strengthens pathways in the brain through neuroplasticity. It prepares both mind and body for performance. It builds emotional familiarity with success before it happens. In essence, you're programming yourself for greatness. Mental rehearsal is more than imagination. It's training. It's preparation. It's a powerful tool that transforms invisible effort into visible outcomes. And in the chapters that follow, you'll learn how to apply it in ways that are simple, effective, and transformational. Because your outer success begins with your inner practice. Chapter 2, the mind-body connection. We often treat the mind and body as two separate entities. One governs our thoughts, the other controls our actions. But science and human experience both reveal a deeper truth. Your mind and body are in constant communication, and the quality of that dialogue can shape the results you get in life. When you rehearse success in your mind, your body doesn't just stand by idly. It listens, reacts, and prepares. This connection is the silent engine behind mental rehearsal, and understanding it is the key to unlocking your true potential. Let's dive in. Your thoughts are physical signals. Have you ever had a nightmare so vivid your heart raced, your palms sweated, and your muscles tensed, only to wake up and realize you were completely safe? That's the mind-body connection in action. A mere thought, a story playing inside your head, triggered a cascade of very real physical reactions. This phenomenon is not isolated. Your body responds to your mental state every single day. Worry leads to tight shoulders. Excitement makes your heart beat faster. Sadness drains your energy. Confidence straightens your posture. Why? Because your thoughts are not just private, passive events. They are chemical and electrical signals that directly influence your body's physiology. When you imagine something with emotional intensity, your brain floods your body with corresponding signals, releasing hormones, activating muscles, and preparing for action. This is why mental rehearsal is so effective. When you mentally prepare for a task, whether it's giving a speech, making a sale, or hitting a game-winning shot, you're not just picturing the event. You're literally training your body to feel and perform as if it's already happening. The role of the nervous system. At the heart of this communication lies your central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord, and your autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions like breathing, heartbeat, and digestion. When you imagine a stressful situation, your autonomic nervous system may trigger a fight or flight response. Your heart rate rises, your breathing becomes shallow. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. This happens even if there's no real threat. Just the mental image is enough. Now flip the script. When you mentally rehearse a calm, successful experience, walking confidently into a meeting or finishing a project with pride, your nervous system responds differently. It may activate the parasympathetic system, known as rest and digest, which promotes calmness, focus, and readiness. In this way, your mind becomes the steering wheel for your body. The images you hold and the emotions you attach to them literally tune your body's internal environment. Muscle memory. Without movement, you've probably heard of muscle memory. The idea that repeating a movement over and over helps your body remember how to do it automatically. What's fascinating is that muscle memory isn't just about repetition through physical movement. It can also be built through mental rehearsal. How? Because when you vividly imagine yourself performing a movement, your brain sends signals to the same muscles involved in that movement. They may not move visibly, but they're activated at a low level. It's as if your body is practicing in the background, guided by your mind. That's why gymnasts visualize routines before competitions. That's why musicians mentally play through entire concerts before stepping on stage. It's also why soldiers and emergency responders mentally rehearse protocols, so when the moment comes, their bodies respond as if they've been there before. You don't have to be an elite performer to use this. Mental rehearsal works whether you're practicing for a high-stakes event or simply building better habits. Your body doesn't care if the signals come from reality or imagination. It simply responds. Emotions as physical anchors. Emotions are not just feelings. They are full-body experiences. When you feel confident, your body reflects it. Your chest opens, your breathing deepens, your tone becomes steady. When you feel fear, your muscles tighten, your voice may shake, and your thoughts become scattered. This feedback loop between emotions and the body is incredibly powerful. Through mental rehearsal, you can begin to anchor new emotions to specific actions. For example, instead of feeling nervous before a presentation, you can condition your body to associate the experience with excitement and control. Here's how it works. When you mentally rehearse a future event, you don't just see it, you feel it. You feel the joy of success, the calm of clarity, the strength of preparation. Those emotions become tied to the imagined experience, and over time your body responds with the same confidence when the real moment arrives. You're not just programming your behavior, you're programming how you feel while doing it. Biological proof. The placebo effect, one of the most intriguing examples of the mind-body connection, is the placebo effect. In countless medical studies, patients given fake treatments, sugar pills or saline injections, report genuine improvements in symptoms simply because they believe they're receiving real medicine. That belief triggers biological changes: pain relief, lowered blood pressure, improved mood, even increased immune function. The body responds not to the treatment, but to the mind's expectation of healing. Mental rehearsal operates on a similar principle. You are not tricking your brain. You are training it to believe in a future that you are actively preparing for. And just like the placebo effect, that belief shapes your biology. Energy follows attention. There's a powerful saying in neuroscience: neurons that fire together, wire together. This means the more often you activate a specific thought or pattern, the stronger the connection becomes. Over time, your attention becomes your reality. If you constantly rehearse stress, worry, or failure in your mind, guess what? Your body learns that pattern. But if you intentionally rehearse success, clarity, and confidence, your body begins to mirror those states. Energy flows where attention goes. That's why mental rehearsal is so much more than positive thinking. It's focused, intentional attention on what you want to become real, paired with emotional and physical engagement. That combination creates lasting change. Your body believes your mind. In summary, the mind-body connection is not just a nice idea, it's a biological fact. Every thought you think sends a signal to your body, and every signal your body receives shapes how you move, feel, and perform. When you mentally rehearse, your nervous system prepares for real action. Your muscles are subtly engaged, your emotions are conditioned for success. Your biology starts responding to an imagined reality. Your body believes what your mind repeats. This is why mental rehearsal is so transformative. It doesn't just help you think differently, it trains you to be different. It bridges the gap between imagination and implementation, between intention and execution. In the next chapter, we'll explore how mental rehearsal differs from simple visualization, and why understanding this difference can make or break your success. Chapter 3: Visualization versus Mental Rehearsal. Why one motivates you and the other transforms you. Imagine this. You're lying on the couch, eyes closed, visualizing your dream life, driving your dream car, walking across the stage to receive an award, standing at the edge of a beachside villa. You feel excited, motivated, hopeful. But then, nothing changes. Why? Because visualization and mental rehearsal are not the same thing. While both are valuable, only one creates real transformation. If visualization is like watching a movie, then mental rehearsal is like acting in it. One makes you feel good temporarily. The other prepares your brain and body to succeed in the real world. In this chapter, we'll break down the key differences between these two powerful techniques and show you how to move from daydreaming to deliberate preparation. What is visualization? Visualization is the process of mentally seeing a desired outcome. It's often used as a motivational tool. You picture your goals, your ideal future, the results you want. Athletes see themselves crossing the finish line. Entrepreneurs imagine their company thriving. Performers visualize applause and accolades. Visualization focuses on outcomes. It feels good. It boosts morale. It can spark ambition. But there's a catch. Most people stop there. They visualize success without ever preparing their mind or body to live it. And that's where things fall apart. Without action, internal or external, visualization becomes little more than wishful thinking. What is mental rehearsal? Mental rehearsal goes deeper. Instead of simply imagining the result, you rehearse the process that leads to the result. You imagine yourself taking the steps, facing the challenges, navigating the decisions, and performing the actual behaviors that move you forward. While visualization is about the what, mental rehearsal is about the how, and that difference changes everything. Mental rehearsal involves recreating the full experience in your mind, engaging multiple senses, what you see, hear, feel, even smell or taste. Focusing on movement, timing, emotion, and execution. Practicing the process, not just fantasizing about the outcome. It's not about pretending. It's about preparing. The brain knows the difference. Here's where science comes in. Your brain is smart, but it also responds to simulated experiences as if they were real. In visualization, the brain may get a brief emotional boost from seeing a positive outcome. But it doesn't activate the motor cortex or sensory systems in a meaningful way. In mental rehearsal, those systems are deeply engaged. The brain creates a blueprint for action. Neural pathways are strengthened. You're not just watching success, you're mentally living it. In fact, studies have shown that when people mentally rehearse tasks in detail, they improve performance almost as much as with physical practice. Surgeons who mentally rehearse complex operations make fewer errors. Golfers who mentally rehearse swings improve accuracy. Even speakers who mentally rehearse their delivery gain more confidence and clarity. This doesn't happen through surface-level visualization. It happens through detailed, emotionally engaging, process-driven mental rehearsal. Visualization can be passive. Rehearsal is active. Let's use a simple analogy. Think of visualization like watching a highlight reel of your future. It's inspiring. You see the glory moments, you feel the high, but it's curated, it's clean. It doesn't show the effort. Mental rehearsal, on the other hand, is like watching yourself train, sweat, stumble, and still rise. It includes the struggle. It includes the effort. It builds resilience and skill, not just motivation. And that's the key difference. Visualization is passive. Mental rehearsal is active participation in your future. How they work together. Yeah, let's be clear. Visualization isn't bad. In fact, it can be incredibly powerful when used the right way. It can serve as the spark, the inspiration, the emotional lift that drives you forward. But to make it effective, it must be paired with rehearsal. Think of visualization as setting your GPS, clarifying where you want to go. Mental rehearsal is the driving practice that helps you get there, skillfully and confidently. When you visualize success and then mentally rehearse the process of achieving it, you align your inner vision with outer preparation. That's when transformation happens. Key differences at a glance visualization. Mental rehearsal focuses on outcomes, focuses on process passive, like watching a movie active, like performing in a role, motivates briefly, builds lasting preparation primarily. Emotional or inspirational, deeply sensory and procedural. May overlook challenges includes problem solving and obstacles, short-lived excitement, long-term neurological change. The risk of misusing visualization. One of the dangers of pure visualization is what psychologists call mental contrasting. When we imagine success too vividly without also preparing for the steps and potential obstacles, we feel good in the moment, but become less likely to take action. Why? Because the brain, satisfied with the fantasy, thinks the job is already done. That's why people who visualize winning the lottery or becoming famous often get stuck. The fantasy becomes a substitute for growth, but those who rehearse the actions, who simulate the journey, are much more likely to succeed. Mental rehearsal bridges the gap between fantasy and fulfillment. Mental rehearsal builds confidence from the inside out. Here's a simple truth. Confidence isn't born, it's built. And one of the most reliable ways to build it is by mentally rehearsing what success actually looks like in real life. You rehearse how it feels to walk into a room with poise. You rehearse your tone of voice, your timing, your breath. You rehearse yourself handling pressure, calm, focused, ready. This kind of inner training prepares your brain and body to remain steady when it counts. You've already been there in your mind, so when the moment comes, you don't freeze, you flow. How to transition from visualization to rehearsal? Let's make this practical. How do you move from basic visualization to powerful mental rehearsal? Start with a clear intention. Don't just imagine the goal. Identify the scenario you want to rehearse. What moment are you preparing for? Engage all your senses. Picture the setting. Hear the sounds. Feel the physical sensations. Make it real in your mind. Focus on the process, not just the prize. What steps are you taking? What do you say, think, or do? How do you respond to obstacles? Include emotions. Feel the confidence. Feel the pressure. Feel the victory. Anchor the experience emotionally. Repeat consistently. Like any skill, mental rehearsal becomes stronger with repetition. Practice regularly, and the effects will multiply. From dreaming to doing, you don't need more motivation. You need preparation. You don't need more inspiration. You need internal training. That's what mental rehearsal offers. It turns vision into reality, not by magic, but by muscle memory, by neurological blueprinting, by conditioning your brain and body to meet the future you desire. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create effective mental rehearsal scripts, so you can design your own mental training sessions starting today. Chapter 4. How champions use it. Stories from sports and beyond success leaves clues, and some of the clearest, most powerful clues come from those who have reached the top of their game. Athletes, performers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who consistently outperform, overcome pressure, and stay sharp when it matters most. What's their secret? Hard work, of course. Discipline, no doubt. But there's something more subtle, more mental, that separates the good from the great. It's mental rehearsal. They don't just train their bodies or memorize their lines. They prepare their minds, again and again in silence before the spotlight ever shines. In this chapter, we'll look at real stories of champions using mental rehearsal to break records, win titles, and redefine what's possible. Not only in sports, but in business, medicine, and the arts. These stories aren't just inspiring, they're instructional. Let's step into the minds of champions. Michael Phelps, winning before he ever dove. An Olympic legend. Michael Phelps didn't just train in the pool, he trained in his mind. Before every race, Phelps would sit quietly and run through his performance from the first dive to the final touch of the wall. He visualized every stroke, every breath, and even what he would do if things went wrong, like if his goggles filled with water. And guess what? In the 2008 Beijing Olympics, during the 200-meter butterfly, that exact thing happened. His goggles filled up. He couldn't see, but he didn't panic. Why? Because he had mentally rehearsed that exact scenario hundreds of times. He kept swimming, stroke by stroke, counting them in his head, just like he did in rehearsal. He finished the race. And not only did he win the gold, he set a world record. That's the power of mental rehearsal. It doesn't just prepare you for success. It prepares you for setbacks so you can keep moving forward when others would fall apart. Serena Williams, practicing calm under pressure. Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players in history, has spoken openly about her mental preparation. Before matches, she doesn't just picture herself winning. She mentally plays out points, practices her serve, imagines her opponent's best shots, and rehearses how she'll respond under pressure. She even rehearses staying calm when she misses a shot or faces a tough call. This ability to maintain emotional control on the court isn't luck, it's trained. Through mental rehearsal, Serena doesn't just prepare for victory, she prepares to be unshakable. That's how she wins not only with power, but with poise. Tom Brady. Studying the game before it starts. NFL quarterback Tom Brady is known for his intense preparation, and that includes his mental game. Brady spends countless hours reviewing film, but he also mentally rehearses game scenarios. Before stepping onto the field, he's already played the game in his mind. He's imagined different defensive formations, visualized throwing under pressure, and walked through his reads again and again. He doesn't just react, he anticipates. And because of that, even in high-stress moments, his decision-making remains razor-sharp. He doesn't guess, he knows. His brain and body have already done it before. Simone Biles. The mind of a gymnast. When you're launching into the air, flipping and twisting at impossible speeds, hesitation can be deadly. That's why Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast of all time, uses mental rehearsal to fine-tune every routine before ever stepping on the mat. She visualizes each movement, what it feels like, how to land, how to connect skills. She does this so vividly that her body feels like it has already performed the routine dozens of times. That's why she can execute moves no one else dares to attempt. It's not just muscle memory, it's mental certainty. Roger Bannister. Breaking the 4-minute mile before 1954, running a mile in under 4 minutes was considered impossible. Doctors even warned it could be deadly. But Roger Bannister didn't just train his body, he trained his belief. He saw himself breaking the barrier. He rehearsed the pace, he imagined the finish, and one day he did it. 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. A record, a miracle. And here's what's fascinating. Just weeks later, other runners began breaking the barrier too. Why? Because Bannister's mental victory gave others permission to believe and to mentally rehearse their own success. Doctors and surgeons, practicing precision without a scalpel. Mental rehearsal isn't just for athletes. In high-stakes fields like surgery, it's becoming a key tool for performance. Surgeons often use mental rehearsal before complex operations. They walk through each step of the procedure, anticipate complications, and mentally practice precise hand movements. Studies show that this mental preparation leads to fewer errors, faster procedures, and better outcomes. The scalpel might be still, but the mind is actively preparing. Public speakers and performers, rehearsing for the stage great. Speakers don't just write speeches, they rehearse them mentally, imagining the walk to the podium, the feel of the microphone, the gaze of the audience, the pauses, the laughter, the applause. Musicians do the same. Violinists mentally practice their pieces. Dancers rehearse choreography in their heads. Broadway stars visualize nailing every scene. Why? Because the brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined performance and the real thing. So when the moment arrives, the body remembers what the mind has already lived. Business leaders, making calm decisions in high-stress moments. In boardrooms and negotiations, mental rehearsal also shines. Executives who mentally rehearse important conversations, pitching an idea, addressing conflict, or leading through crisis, are far more composed. They've already considered what they'll say, how they'll respond, and how they'll hold their presence. That's why elite leaders seem calm under pressure. They've rehearsed not only the strategy, but the state of mind they want to bring to the moment. You can use it too. The stories of champions are powerful, but here's the real takeaway. Mental rehearsal isn't just for the elite. You don't have to be an Olympian or a CEO to use it. You can rehearse a job interview, a first date, A difficult conversation, a performance or speech, a life-changing decision, the principles are the same. Engage your senses. Walk through the process. Feel the emotions. Repeat with clarity. Doing so, you prepare your brain and body for success, just like the champions do. From imagination to implementation. Champions don't hope they'll perform well. They prepare too. And not just physically, mentally, emotionally, intentionally. Mental. Rehearsal is the secret playbook behind the scenes. It's how the best in the world get ready to shine when the world is watching. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create your own mental rehearsal script, a powerful tool you can use daily to train your mind for peak performance in any area of life. Chapter 5, Crafting Your Mental Movie. A step-by-step guide by now. You've seen how athletes, artists, leaders, and professionals use mental rehearsal to elevate their performance. But here's the real magic. You don't have to be famous or elite to use it. In fact, the most powerful thing you can do right now is create your own mental movie. A vivid, detailed scene in your mind where you rehearse your best self performing at your highest level. Think of it like a movie trailer for your future success, directed by you, starring you, experienced by your mind and remembered by your body. In this chapter, we'll walk step by step through how to craft your own mental rehearsal script, your personal mental movie that can prepare you for anything. A big moment, a tough conversation, a life-changing opportunity, or simply becoming a better version of yourself. Let's begin. Step 1. Choose your moment first. Decide what you want to mentally rehearse. This could be anything important or meaningful to you. A presentation at work, a sports competition, a performance, a difficult conversation. A day in the life of your ideal future self. Ask yourself, what specific event or situation do I want to succeed in? What moment, if I could master it, would elevate my life? Once you choose it, commit to it. This is the scene you'll build your mental movie around. Step 2. Set the scene now. Close your eyes and imagine the environment. Where does this moment take place? What does the space look like? What colors, textures, and objects are there? Is it indoors or outdoors? Bright or dim? Use all your senses. Sight. What are you wearing? What's in front of you? Sound. What sounds do you hear? Applause, birds, footsteps, a voice? Smell. Is there coffee in the air? Fresh grass? A hint of perfume? Touch. Can you feel your hands on a steering wheel, a pen, a microphone? Taste. Even taste can be recalled. Maybe the dryness in your mouth before speaking, or the mint you popped in before a date. The more sensory detail you add, the more real it becomes, and the more your brain engages in the experience. Step 3. See yourself succeeding. Now comes the heart of the movie. You in action. Imagine yourself stepping into that moment with confidence, clarity, and calm. Picture your body language, relaxed, upright, present. Hear yourself speaking clearly, moving smoothly, responding with grace and focus. If it's a performance, see yourself hitting every mark. If it's a meeting, visualize the room listening intently. If it's a game, watch yourself make smart plays with ease. If it's a first date, see yourself charming, composed, and authentic. Let your mental movie show the best version of you. Not perfect, but prepared, grounded, and at your peak. And here's the key. Feel it emotionally. Don't just watch, live. Feel the excitement, the confidence, the joy. Let your brain register not just the actions, but the state of mind you're in. This is where mental rehearsal becomes powerful. It embeds the feeling of success deep into your nervous system. Step 4. Rehearse obstacles and responses. This step is often overlooked, but it's where real resilience is built. Mentally walk through what could go wrong and see yourself handling it like a pro. For example, if you blank during a speech, see yourself pausing, smiling, and recovering. If someone criticizes your idea in a meeting, rehearse staying calm and responding with poise. If nerves rise up before a performance, visualize yourself breathing through it and grounding yourself. Rehearsing success is important, but rehearsing recovery is essential. Life throws curveballs. Champions don't just win when it's easy. They win because they've practiced how to recover when it's hard. So add what-if moments to your movie and make your responses strong, calm, and self-assured. Step 5. End with a victory moment. Every great movie ends with a memorable scene. Yours should too. See the finish. The applause, the handshake, the hug, the moment of satisfaction. Whatever the win looks like for you, lock it in. More importantly, feel it. That inner surge of, yes, I did it. Let that emotion wash over you. Let your nervous system absorb it. Why? Because the brain remembers emotions more than details. And when you practice success with real feeling, you teach your body how to recreate that state when it matters most. This isn't pretending. This is pre-living the moment. Step 6. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Once your mental movie is crafted, replay it often. Repetition is what imprints the script onto your subconscious. Over time, your brain begins to believe, I've done this before. I know how this goes. And when the real moment comes, your mind and body respond not with panic, but with familiarity. Aim to run your mental movie daily, if possible, especially the night before the event. Just before the real moment, it only takes a few minutes, but the payoff can be enormous. Step 7. Record your script, optional but powerful. To make your mental rehearsal even more immersive, consider recording your script in your own voice or using a calm, trusted voice like an AI narrator. Speak your script slowly, clearly, with emotion. Describe the environment. Narrate the action. Include encouraging affirmations. Add music if you like. Then, listen to it before bed or during quiet moments. This becomes a personal performance enhancement tool, a guided tour of your best self. In action. A note on authenticity as you rehearse, remember. The goal isn't perfection, it's prepared presence. Your mental movie should reflect the real you, not an untouchable superhero, but a person who shows up grounded, focused, adaptable, and ready. Authenticity is magnetic. Your mental rehearsal should bring out your genuine best, not some artificial ideal. You are the director of your future crafting. Your mental movie isn't just an exercise, it's a declaration. It says, I believe in my potential. I'm preparing for my moment. I'm not waiting to succeed by chance, I'm designing it by choice. With each mental rehearsal, you sharpen your focus, reduce anxiety, and increase your chances of showing up as your best self. You become the director of your inner world, and by extension, your outer reality. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and start your mental movie today. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to make mental rehearsal a daily habit. So, your mind becomes a constant partner in your growth, confidence, and success. Chapter 6: Emotional Involvement. The secret ingredient. If mental rehearsal is the engine of transformation, then emotion is the fuel. Without emotion, your mental movie is just a daydream. With emotion, it becomes a blueprint for real, tangible change. You can have the most vivid mental scene in the world. See the colors, hear the sounds, picture every detail. But if you're not feeling it, your brain won't fully believe it, and belief is everything. In this chapter, we'll uncover the powerful role of emotion in mental rehearsal, how it activates your subconscious, and why it's the difference maker between passive imagination and real performance enhancement. More importantly, you'll learn how to tap into emotional energy intentionally. So every time you rehearse, you embed success deep into your nervous system. Let's unlock the secret ingredient. Why emotion matters in mental rehearsal. The human brain is an emotional machine. Long before we could speak in sentences or write words on paper, we felt. Emotion is primal. It's raw, and it's deeply connected to memory, motivation, and decision-making. Neuroscience tells us that emotionally charged experiences create stronger neural pathways in the brain. That's why we remember emotionally intense moments, good or bad, far more clearly than neutral ones. When you mentally rehearse with emotion, you aren't just imagining success. You're experiencing it, as far as your brain is concerned. Here's what that does. It hardwires belief. Your mind says, "This feels real. I've done this before." It ignites motivation. You crave that feeling again and it fuels your drive. It activates your physiology. You might feel your heart race, your posture shift, your energy rise. Emotion turns rehearsal into preparation on a cellular level. The chemistry of emotion. When you add emotion to a thought, something powerful happens. In the brain, you release chemicals like dopamine, motivation, norepinephrine, focus, and oxytocin, connection, that help the brain record that experience more deeply. It's like pressing save on your internal hard drive. Dr. Joe Dispenza puts it this way: thoughts are the language of the brain. Emotions are the language of the body. When your thoughts and emotions align, your whole system gets involved. That's when change begins. What kind of emotions should you feel? Not all emotions are created equal when it comes to mental rehearsal. You want to focus on positive, empowering emotions, the kind that elevate your energy and expand your sense of possibility. Here are a few to anchor into your mental movie. Confidence. Feel sure of yourself. Capable. Competent. Like, "I've got this." Gratitude. Imagine the joy of the outcome and feel thankful in advance. Excitement. Stir anticipation. That bubbly, electric thrill of what's coming. Calm. Feel peaceful. Grounded. Trusting that all is unfolding perfectly. Pride. Experience the satisfaction of showing up fully and giving your best. If you can feel even just one of these emotions deeply during your mental rehearsal, you've supercharged it. Creating an emotionally charged mental scene. So how do you actually bring emotion into your mental movie? Here's a step-by-step technique. Anchor to a past win. Close your eyes and recall a real moment in your life where you felt proud, excited, or deeply fulfilled. Maybe you nailed a presentation, finished a race, got a heartfelt compliment. Let yourself relive it. Feel it in your chest. Breathe it in. Transfer that emotion to your rehearsal scene. Now, while you're still emotionally activated, bring in your mental movie. Picture your success scenario and let the emotion flood into it. Merge the two. Speak it out loud, optional but powerful. Say things like, "I feel unstoppable. This is who I am. I'm proud of how I show up." Speaking it helps anchor the emotion even deeper. Let the body respond. If your posture shifts, let it. If you smile, let it. If your heart races a little, embrace it. That's your body rehearsing too. Emotion. Repetition. Identity. Here's a game-changing insight. What you feel repeatedly becomes part of your identity. When you mentally rehearse being confident, focused, and successful over and over again, and feel those emotions deeply, your brain doesn't just think it. It starts to believe it's who you are. That's the real power of emotional mental rehearsal. You're not just preparing for a moment. You're reprogramming your identity. You're no longer someone trying to be confident. You're someone who is confident. You're no longer rehearsing success. You're becoming success. Handling negative emotions. Sometimes, especially in high-pressure situations, negative emotions like fear, doubt, or anxiety creep in, even during rehearsal. Don't push them away. Instead, transform them. Here's how. Acknowledge the fear. Name it. Ask, what's underneath this fear? Often it's just a desire to do well or to be accepted. Breathe. Shift your focus back to your strengths. Re-enter your mental movie, this time anchored in calm, grounded confidence. Remember, you're not trying to fake positivity. You're training your nervous system to respond with resilience and self-trust, even in challenging moments. Real-life practice, emotional rehearsal journal. To amplify your emotional involvement, try keeping an emotional rehearsal journal. After each mental movie session, write, what moment did I rehearse? What emotions did I feel most strongly? How did my body respond? What did I learn or notice? Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll become more skilled at activating emotional states on command. That's mastery. Feel it first, live it later. Success isn't just a series of actions, it's a state of being. And that state begins in the heart, not just the mind. When you feel your future success, when you embody it, celebrate it, and emotionally live in it, your brain begins to build that reality around you. That's how mental rehearsal works. And that's why emotion is the secret ingredient. So next time you close your eyes to practice your mental movie, don't just see it. Feel it. Feel the power. Feel the pride. Feel the freedom. Feel the future calling you forward. Because once you've felt it, the outer world begins to catch up. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to overcome mental blocks and resistance that often arise during this process, so you can stay clear, committed, and consistent. Chapter 7: Common Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. Mental rehearsal is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it needs to be used correctly. While the idea of closing your eyes and imagining success might seem simple, there are subtle ways we can unintentionally sabotage the process. The truth is, what you rehearse becomes what you repeat. That's why it's crucial to become aware of the most common mistakes people make with mental rehearsal, and how to correct them before they take root. In this chapter, we'll uncover those hidden traps, explain why they matter, and offer you clear solutions so that your mental practice is always serving your growth, not reinforcing your fears. Let's sharpen your mental game. Mistake number 1: rehearsing failure instead of success. Let's be honest. How often do we mentally replay what we don't want to happen? Imagining yourself freezing on stage, replaying a mistake over and over, visualizing a conversation going wrong. Here's the catch. Your brain doesn't judge whether a mental image is good or bad. It just records what you give it. If you constantly rehearse fear, embarrassment, or failure, your brain prepares you for that outcome. Solution: become your own mental director. As soon as you notice your mind drifting into negative rehearsal, pause, take a breath, gently guide it back to the vision of success. Ask, what's the best version of this scene? Then rehearse that instead. Mistake number 2: being too vague. I just want to be successful. I see myself doing well. Sounds positive, right? But it's not enough. Vague rehearsal leads to vague results. Your brain responds better to specific, detailed scenarios. It needs context to build clarity and confidence. Solution: be laser specific. Define the exact moment you're rehearsing. Visualize the space, the people, the steps, and your feelings. The more precise your scene, the more effectively your brain encodes it. Mistake number 3: watching yourself like a movie instead of being in the movie. This is a subtle one. Many people visualize from a third-person perspective, like watching themselves on a screen. While this can be helpful for review, it's not ideal for programming your body to respond automatically. Solution: step into the scene. Rehearse from a first-person perspective. Feel what you'd feel. See through your own eyes. Engage your senses fully. This immerses your nervous system in the experience and creates stronger muscle memory. Mistake number 4: ignoring the emotional element. We learned in the last chapter, emotion is the amplifier, yet many people go through the motions of mental rehearsal without feeling anything. It becomes mechanical, flat, and ultimately forgettable. Solution: turn up the emotional volume. Add emotion to every session. Confidence, joy, pride, or even calm anticipation. Let your body respond. Let your heart engage. This is where real transformation happens. Mistake number 5: only rehearsing best-case scenarios. It's tempting to rehearse everything going perfectly. No mistakes, no surprises, no pressure. But the real world doesn't work that way. When things go off script, those who only practice perfection often panic. Solution: rehearse recovery, not just perfection. Mentally walk through setbacks, forgetting a line, losing your place, dealing with interruptions. Then see yourself respond with grace, clarity, and control. This builds emotional resilience. Mistake number 6, rehearsing inconsistently. Mental rehearsal is like a muscle. If you only do it once in a while, before big events, or when you're nervous, it won't be strong when you need it most. Solution: make it a daily practice. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes a day. Rehearse your ideal day, a future event, or your best self in action. The goal is consistency, not perfection. Over time, this repetition wires success into your system. Mistake number 7, relying on willpower. Instead of a system, many people try to fit in mental rehearsal whenever they remember. But like any habit, if you leave it to chance, it rarely sticks. Solution: build a structure around your practice. Link it to something you already do, after morning coffee, before workouts, or right before bed. Use audio recordings or a journal to guide you. Create a system that supports your success. Mistake number 8, thinking it's just positive thinking. Mental rehearsal is not about simply thinking happy thoughts or chanting affirmations. It's about structured, emotionally charged, sensory-rich training for your mind and body. Solution: treat it like a skill. Just like learning to play an instrument or mastering a sport, mental rehearsal improves with intention and practice. Respect the process, it's not fluff, it's neuroscience. Mistake number 9, quitting too soon. Sometimes people try mental rehearsal for a few days and say, "I don't feel any different," or "it's not working." But just like you wouldn't expect to get fit after one gym session, you can't expect instant transformation from a few mental reps. Solution: trust the compound effect. Every session leaves an imprint, even if you don't feel it right away. Over time, your brain, body, and belief system begin to shift. Stay consistent, and the results will follow. Mistake number 10, forgetting who you're becoming. This final mistake is the most important. Some people focus so much on a single event, nailing a pitch, winning a game, acing an interview, that they forget the bigger picture. Mental rehearsal isn't just about preparing for a moment. It's about becoming someone new. Solution: rehearse your identity. Don't just rehearse actions. Rehearse being the person you want to be. Calm, confident, focused, energetic, kind. Show up in your mind as your future self. This is the real transformation. Perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. You don't need to get every detail right. You don't need to rehearse flawlessly. You just need to be aware, intentional, and committed. The goal of mental rehearsal isn't to control the outcome. It's to shape how you show up when it matters most. That's your real power. And the more you avoid these common mistakes, the more potent your mental practice becomes. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to combine mental rehearsal with physical action, so your inner preparation aligns perfectly with outer performance. That's when things really start to move. Chapter 8, Mental Rehearsal for Health, Confidence, and Creativity. Most people think of mental rehearsal as a tool for sports, speeches, or business success, and it is. But what if I told you this powerful practice goes far beyond performance? What if you could use mental rehearsal to improve your health, amplify your confidence, and unlock powerful creative breakthroughs? In this chapter, you'll discover how to apply mental rehearsal to enhance your well-being, self-image, and creative capacity in ways that are not only practical, but transformative. Because the truth is this: your body listens to your mind. Your confidence is shaped by your internal story, and your creativity is born in the space between imagination and belief. Let's explore how to bring that all to life. Mental rehearsal for health. Healing from the inside out. Your mind and body are deeply connected. When you think certain thoughts, your body responds. When you imagine stress, your body tightens. But when you imagine healing, energy, and vitality, your body shifts into repair and rejuvenation mode. This isn't theory, it's science. Real research, real impact. Studies in psychoneuroimmunology, the science of how thoughts affect the immune system, have shown that guided imagery and visualization can lower blood pressure, reduce pain, and accelerate healing. Cancer patients have used imagery of their immune systems attacking tumors. Athletes have mentally rehearsed the regeneration of torn ligaments. Stroke survivors have visualized walking again before they could physically move. Your brain doesn't need your body to move to begin sending healing signals. It needs your belief and a mental script. Try this, the healing visualization. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Visualize your body glowing with light and strength. See your cells repairing. Imagine energy flowing through every organ. Feel gratitude in advance. Thank your body as if healing is already happening. Repeat daily. Even 5 to 10 minutes can start to shift your physiology. Mental rehearsal for confidence. Becoming who you believe you are. Confidence doesn't come from success. Confidence creates success. At its core, confidence is your belief in your ability to handle what comes next. It's not arrogance, it's not perfection. It's self-trust. Mental rehearsal helps you program that trust by rehearsing successful states over and over, so your nervous system believes, yes, I've done this before. Repetition builds identity. The more you see yourself speaking clearly, walking tall, setting boundaries, or trying something new, the more it becomes natural. And here's the key, you don't need to have lived it yet to make it real in your mind. You just need to rehearse it vividly and emotionally. Try this, the confidence boost rehearsal. Choose one moment you want to feel more confident in. A meeting, a date, a decision. Picture yourself in that scene. Hear your voice strong and steady. Feel your posture upright, grounded, open. Anchor into a confident emotion, pride, power, clarity. Repeat this scene every day for 1 week. Watch how your body and tone begin to shift, not from effort, but from familiarity. Mental rehearsal for creativity. Opening the flow creativity isn't just for artists or musicians. It's the fuel behind new ideas, problem solving, innovation, and vision. But creativity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from creating space and from giving your brain permission to explore the unknown. Mental rehearsal can help you prime your brain for breakthroughs by relaxing mental tension, which kills creativity. Imagining possibilities without judgment. Allowing subconscious ideas to rise to the surface. Think of it like this. Mental rehearsal becomes the sketch pad where your brain draws before it paints. The neuroscience of flow. Creative insights often come from the default mode network, a part of the brain that activates when you're relaxed, not forcing outcomes. By rehearsing being creative, curious, open, experimental, you train your mind to enter that state more easily. Try this, the creative flow activation. Before a brainstorming session or creative project, close your eyes. Picture yourself in a flow state. Ideas are pouring in. You feel calm and open. Imagine your hands typing or drawing. Words, solutions, colors flow effortlessly. Smile as you see yourself in the zone. Let that joy sink in. Open your eyes and begin. You've primed your creative system. Real-life examples, inner practice, outer change, healing with intention. A woman recovering from chronic fatigue used daily mental rehearsals to see herself waking up energized, walking outside, breathing deeply and laughing with friends. Over time, she noticed her symptoms easing, not overnight, but consistently. Her mind gave her body a script to follow. Confidence in action. An introverted college student rehearsed himself speaking up in class, asking questions, and smiling when he entered the room. Within weeks, his professors noted his change. He wasn't faking it. He had rehearsed it so well that it became real. Creativity unlocked. A startup founder, stuck in a creative block, began rehearsing himself, thinking freely and sketching wildly on a whiteboard. He visualized his team laughing, collaborating, finding sparks of genius. Within a few sessions, the fog lifted, and the breakthrough idea came. You are the creator of your state. Mental rehearsal gives you a quiet but powerful truth. You don't have to wait for the outside world to change to feel better, stronger, more alive. You can rehearse wellness. You can rehearse confidence. You can rehearse creative breakthroughs. And in doing so, you shape the inner state that creates outer success. So as you move forward, don't limit mental rehearsal to just winning moments. Use it to nourish your health, ignite your confidence, and free your creative genius. Because when your inner world aligns with your highest vision, the outer world follows. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the practical side. How to build a consistent mental rehearsal routine that sticks, one you can rely on every single day. Chapter 9, Making It a Habit. Building your daily practice. We've come a long way. By now, you understand that mental rehearsal is not just a technique, it's a life-changing tool. It rewires your brain, transforms your habits, and prepares you to thrive in the moments that matter. But here's the catch. Knowing how powerful mental rehearsal is won't change your life. Doing it will. In this chapter, we focus on implementation. Because even the most powerful method is useless unless it becomes a habit. This is where transformation happens, not from one grand mental rehearsal session, but from small, consistent, intentional ones that build up over time. Let's walk step by step through how to build a daily practice that sticks, feels natural, and grows stronger every day. Why daily rehearsal matters. Let's begin with a simple truth. Your brain is always rehearsing something. Every time you worry, you're rehearsing fear. Every time you procrastinate, you're rehearsing hesitation. Every time you imagine the worst, you're rehearsing defeat. So the real question isn't if you're mentally rehearsing, it's what you're rehearsing. That's why daily practice matters. You reclaim control of your mental narrative. You choose the story you feed your brain. You condition your mind for success, health, confidence, creativity, whatever you want more of. The goal? Turn mental rehearsal from a task into a habit, from an optional exercise into a natural part of your lifestyle, the 5-minute foundation. Let's kill the excuse right now. You do not need 30 minutes or a silent mountaintop to practice mental rehearsal. In fact, you can begin with just 5 minutes a day and still get massive results. The secret is intentionality and consistency. Here's how to start with a short, powerful practice. Step 1. Set a time and place. Consistency needs structure. Choose a trigger, something you already do every day. After waking up, after brushing your teeth, before a workout. Before bed, pair your mental rehearsal with this anchor. This makes it automatic. Step 2. Pick one. Focus. Each session should have a specific intention. Don't try to visualize your entire future. Instead, focus on a single goal, a skill you're building, a challenge you're preparing for, a state of being, calm, focused, energized. Let your mind rehearse just one thing clearly. Step 3. See it, feel it, be it as you mentally rehearse. See the scene unfold through your own eyes. Feel the emotions of success, confidence, peace. Be in the experience. Own it. Live it. This isn't passive daydreaming, it's intentional training. Habit stacking, the secret to consistency. Want to make mental rehearsal truly automatic? Use habit stacking. This technique, made famous by James Clear in Atomic Habits, involves pairing your new habit with one that's already solid. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I'll rehearse my best self for 5 minutes. After I put on my shoes for a run, I'll mentally rehearse finishing strong. Before I open my laptop, I'll rehearse a focused, productive work session. The anchor habit acts like a cue, triggering your rehearsal session naturally. Tools that can help you. If you prefer structure or guidance, use these supportive tools. Guided audio, record your own voice describing your ideal performance or outcome. Or use mental rehearsal audio tracks. Listening to your own script is powerful. It programs your brain even while you're relaxed. Visualization. Journal, write down what you're rehearsing each day. Reflect on how it felt. Over time, you'll notice patterns and progress. Reminders or apps. Set a recurring reminder on your phone. Use habit tracker apps to gamify your consistency. The key is not to rely on memory, rely on systems. What to do when you don't feel. It's some days, you'll sit down to rehearse and feel distracted, tired, disconnected. That's okay. Do it anyway. Because mental rehearsal isn't about feeling perfect. It's about showing up and practicing, even when you're off. Especially then, think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't skip brushing just because you're not in the mood. You do it because it's part of who you are. Same with mental rehearsal. Make it a non-negotiable act of self-respect. And on the days when you do feel it, when the energy flows and the vision is vivid, you'll feel the compounding impact of your discipline. Keep it fresh, keep it fun. Repetition builds skill, but boredom kills habit. So keep your practice alive by switching it up. Rehearse different situations. Focus on different emotional states, add music or breath work. Record new scripts as your goals evolve. Let your rehearsal evolve with you. Keep it dynamic. The power of nighttime rehearsal. Here's a powerful tip. Use the last 10 minutes of your day for mental rehearsal. Why? Because your brain is highly suggestible in those final minutes before sleep. It soaks in whatever you give. It then processes and encodes that material while you sleep. So instead of drifting off thinking about what went wrong, drift off mentally rehearsing what will go right. You'll literally be training your brain while you sleep. Track the results. Subtly and surely, you won't always see fireworks. Mental rehearsal works like a slow drip, not a tidal wave. But over time, you'll notice. You walk into situations calmer. You respond instead of react. You trust yourself more. You perform better with less anxiety. Ideas come faster. Confidence feels real. Energy rises. These are the signs that your mental rehearsal habit is taking root. Identity shift. Make it who you are. Here's the final step. It's subtle, but it's everything. Don't think of mental rehearsal as something you do. Think of it as part of who you are. Say to yourself, I am someone who trains my mind daily. I rehearse the future I want because I'm creating it. Mental practice is part of my power. When it becomes part of your identity, you know. Longer need willpower. You simply act in alignment. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. You won't always do it perfectly. You might miss a day. You might have off moments. That's okay. What matters is, you show up anyway. Because each time you rehearse, you deepen the groove. You build mental muscle. You shape your identity. You align with your best self. And when that becomes your habit, there's nothing you can't create. Conclusion, the inner practice. That changes everything. What if the future you've always imagined isn't as far away as you think? What if it's already forming inside your mind right now? That's the power of mental rehearsal. Throughout this journey, you've learned that mental rehearsal isn't just about daydreaming. It's not a motivational gimmick. It's not about positive thinking without substance. It's about neuroplasticity. Focus, emotion, discipline, identity. It's about deliberately programming your mind to perform, to heal, to evolve, and ultimately to succeed. Because the truth is this: your brain doesn't know the difference between real and vividly imagined experiences. That means every time you mentally rehearse with intention, emotion, and clarity, you're not pretending, you're preparing. Your mind is the first stage of reality. Before any breakthrough comes belief. Before any success comes self-image. Before any creation comes rehearsal. You don't become confident by waiting for proof. You rehearse confidence until it feels natural. You don't become calm by wishing for peace. You mentally rehearse peace until it flows through your day. Everything you want begins in the inner world. And the more time you spend there, training, visualizing, rehearsing, the more quickly it shows up in your outer world. Because your brain, it's always listening, always learning, always adapting. So feed it what you want it to believe. The shift that separates high performers from everyone. Else high performers, athletes, artists, CEOs, creators, they all know the secret. They don't just practice when the lights are on. They practice before anyone sees them. They win in their minds long before they step into the arena. That's the shift. When you commit to inner training, you stop reacting to life. You start creating it. You no longer depend on motivation or circumstances. You rely on your mental blueprint because you've built it, you've rehearsed it, you've lived it in advance. That's where the magic happens. From practice to power. Let's be clear, this isn't about being perfect. It's not about never failing or never doubting yourself again. It's about creating a place in your mind where you can return every single day to reset, to rehearse, and to reconnect with your highest self. Even 5 minutes a day of focused, mental rehearsal is powerful. Even one clear vision felt deeply can change your emotional state. And one shift in your self-image can open the door to lifelong transformation. It's not the length of time, it's the level of intention. Mental rehearsal turns hope into habit. It turns goals into identity. And over time, it turns inner whispers into external wins. The inner practice becomes outer success. Your outer life will always reflect your inner world. If you rehearse peace, you will respond with calm. If you rehearse power, you will step into challenges with strength. If you rehearse success, you will walk into opportunities with certainty. Mental rehearsal isn't about controlling every outcome. It's about preparing your inner world so you can handle any outcome with grace, clarity, and confidence. And in doing that, you create something priceless: self-trust. When you trust your preparation, you stop second-guessing. When you trust your vision, you stop waiting for permission. And when you trust your mind, you trust your future. You are the architect. Now you're not waiting for luck anymore. You're not hoping for the world to change. You're building your world, one mental image at a time. So keep showing up, keep seeing it, keep feeling it. Whether it's your health, your art, your business, your relationships, you now have the tool to rehearse any success you want to manifest. You've become the architect of your future. You've become the director of your inner movie. You've stepped into the role of creator. Let this be your daily reminder. Whenever you forget your power, come back to this. As I rehearse it in my mind, I prepare for it in my life. As I feel it inside, I create it outside. My inner world is not just a reflection, it's a rehearsal. It's where my success begins. This is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of your daily practice, your quiet power, your greatest tool, your mental rehearsal. Now go create your reality. You've already seen it. The future is yours to shape. The stage is yours to walk on. You've already seen it, felt it, and become it in your mind. Now go live it. Because when you rehearse the extraordinary, you become it.